And a killer unexpected match was when we saw Jon Moxley back in action. The biggest question was, who is he going to be? I thought it was going to be like, a squash match and kind of, just to get his bearings, because the announcer said that he has not fought since December 12th. And, we're looking on the calendar right now, and that's almost 2 months from that.
Yeah.
And, Nick Comoroto is a name that, like we said earlier, is one we won't forget now. He came out with a vengeance. This guy really surprised me. I've seen photos of him. I haven't gotten to depth of any of his matches on Dark. This is a surprising stat, singles record 0-2 on Dark. So I think he went against, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe like Luchasaurus or something, but this guy's got an awesome look. He's huge. He can bench press 600 pounds. I don't know if you caught that. 600 pounds. Maybe I've maxed out half that, maybe, and I've been training for a while, but I mean, this guy's huge. 600 pounds bench press. So I'm really glad it wasn't a squash match, and it really, for a while I was questioning this booking. I'm like, why is, who is this guy kind of taking on Moxley, and he's taking him on pretty good, and the announcers did a good job. How, there was an open challenge, essentially. No one took the challenge except this guy signing the contract. But it was a nice squash, maybe, or nice match overall. So maybe down the line, if Moxley needs backup, he can recruit this guy. I think that would be cool to him to have kind of join a force. We don't know if Nick is playing more of the heel or the face look, but he looked pretty great. And I think his social media and his name's going to be circulating the internet the next, few days for sure.
Yeah. I don't know about you. That was my first reaction, was like, when I saw this dude, I was like, I know I'm not the only one who's scrambling, typing in Nick Comoroto. I'm trying to find I want to follow this dude because I think that this guy clearly has a bright future. Just when you see, and again, you just talked about it with Marco in the last segment with FTR. You can't control your size to a certain extent, right? You have certain things that aren't in your control, but when you see a guy like this on screen, wrestling is a visual business. I mean, there's no denying it. Always has been. It is a visual business, and man, you see a dude like this on screen, he commands your vision as a viewer, man. That he commands your respect. You're like, all right, I might not know anything about this guy, but man, this dude looks legit. Like, I don't want to get in a fight with a guy like this. I mean, just a big, just tough looking son of a gun, right? He just has that, like, this seems like a type of guy that Jim Ross, would have been talking about slobber knockers. This is his kind of guy, his type of wrestler, like kind of has those Dr. Death, Steve Williams vibes to him. Just that like badass vibe to him. He's got like that caveman look, man. I don't know.
He's like the caveman and Tarzan combined in one or something.
Dude was, and here's the thing, going into the match, like you and I talked about it, Mox was presented in a way of like being a very frustrated former champion, right? Has gone through a lot with Kenny, especially, and the back and forth that he's had with Omega, the frustration, the beatdown that he got at the hands of the Good Brothers and Kenny. Yep. He was presented in a way where, oh man, this is a bulldog who's going to get let off the chain, and he's going to tear into whoever is going to be in the ring with him. And to your point, Big Nick, man, that dude took everything that Moxley could throw at him and was given plenty back. So
absolutely,
I felt like that this was a surprise match, more so than the Cody versus Peter Avalon match. This was a really good surprise that it went longer and was more competitive than we could have thought as fans. I was very impressed with this one.
I was very impressed as well. The only knock that I have, if I have to give one, is the finish. I guess, it's kind of like trying to slay the giant. We just watched The Princess Bride last night with Andre the Giant in there, and he got taken down by like a sleeper hold, essentially. Yeah. And so that's kind of this, it reminded me exactly like this bigger giant guy getting taken down with a choke out or a sleeper hold, essentially. I'm not a huge fan of that finish. That being said, it did make sense in a way because, doing the paradigm shift on a bigger guy like that could be challenging. So it does show I think it saves Nick doing that finish versus, let's say, like an armbar finish where he taps out or something like that. So,
Yep.
he didn't tap out. He passed out
He
essentially and
didn't.
rang the bell.
Right.
So
That's
it saved him in a way. So that way I get it. But overall, if you're looking at it on paper, like, oh, he choked him out and finished it. With someone like Moxley, I think it would have been a better finish, but they worked. But the promo is great afterwards.
Yeah, I think it's a good point by you, that finish. I mean, like, I know that they're definitely leaning more into Moxley being like that, that MMA true badass vibe. And the Bulldog choke was integrated in more into his repertoire. And I think that they're going to do more and more of that going forward with his fighting style. I think he's going to lean more into some of those chokes and submissions and things like that. But you brought up his post-match promo, and I want you to dive into that. There was a lot that Moxley had in store for us as AEW fans. Definitely delivered some bombshells as far as what he has in store for us. And I think it led to Beach Breaks main event, right?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really know what was going to happen. Before we get into that promo, I guess it's an elite from me, and I'm sure it's an elite from you on this match for sure.
Yep, for sure.
Unanimous on that. The promo, which you knew was kind of going to be coming, which was great. He really, really cut into it. And I tweeted it out, and how he's saying all roads lead through me, whether you're in Nashville or here and there. And it was an awesome promo. We've talked about this time and time again, how smooth he is on the mic and how powerful he is and how he is great to build any match. And it was a nice surprise announcement. I know we've been preaching to the universe to main event Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker at Beach Break, to finally give the women a main event spot. But if they couldn't get it, this is a perfect one to have. I mean, you can't, the star power of those 6 guys, Moxley and the Lucha Brothers, which Lucha Brothers is my favorite tag team. Then Kenny Omega is my favorite wrestler.
It's going to be Moxley, Phoenix, and Pac. It's because Penta was injured.
So I missed that.
It's going to be Moxley, Phoenix, and Pac, dude.
I'm sorry. Wow.
No, dude. No, for me, like, and
I missed that.
That's the only cushion for me because, I'm still so, I feel like my heart is into this feud with Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. There's no replacing weeks upon weeks upon weeks of build and intensity and fire. That feud, to me, I still believe that's the feud of AEW, and that definitely deserves to be a focal point, and I feel a breakthrough match for the women's division. I wish that this was billed as a co-main event, but I mean, dude, I can't even argue. When you show that graphic, when you see Jon Moxley, Pac, who, again, that's where I'm like, all right, man, I got Pac, Kenny Omega, Jon Moxley, Phoenix. You got all these guys in the same ring. That is a lot of star power, brother. And they're not pulling any punches for Beach Break. This is going to be one of those matches where you're just like, damn, man. Like, I mean, the fact that Moxley, in this, he talks about everything, all roads going through him. Kenny and the Good Brothers are asserting their dominance, and they're really trying to prove that they're the alpha males of the wrestling world. And this is where I think Moxley's statement comes into play, where, I'm not sitting back on the sidelines while you guys run around, Kenny running around in his fancy purple shirts. And, I'm not going to sit on the sidelines and just let you guys run the show and run amok. If you think that you're going to be the top dogs, prove it to me.
Right.
And that's where Moxley's promo really, I think, ties into this match. Seeing Mox with Phoenix and Pac on the same team, brother, I mean,
sorry, I missed that. I missed that detail, and I didn't mean to, but I'm wow.
Right? I mean, that's going to be a match for I don't
care if Kenny Omega has the Andre the Giant clones as his tag team match. No one should beat Moxley, Ray Phoenix, and Pac. There's no.
That's the hard part, right?
You got the guys that could beat them.
Dude, you have the world champion and the Impact Tag Team champions going against honestly, Moxley, the former world champ, Pac, who has pushed, they've talked about it. I'll be more than happy to remind you, one of the only men in all of AEW who have actually pinned Kenny Omega, right? And then you have Phoenix, who we just witnessed a couple weeks ago, gave us one of the most epic. You talked about it as they already set the bar as the match of the year. Yeah. Phoenix versus Omega set the bar for match of the year for 2021 already. So you have that team versus SPD. It's going to be a match for the ages. That's going to be quite a main event. So it definitely goes from me being a little bummed out that Dynamite download. We've been really campaigning. We really do believe that Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match is going to be a special one, but I couldn't complain. I was just like, man, this is a glut of riches, man. These guys have so much talent on the roster, and this main event is going to be an absolute barn burner.